welcome back to the second hour of 8 Bits. In just a moment, we're going to start to go over our best games of 2013. JP drank a potion, became invisible, but he's back. It's worn out now. We're back from our break, and hello, gentlemen. Are you ready to dive into it? 2013, it's been pretty awesome. We had the new consoles. None of the new consoles necessarily brought games that made us...
The PS4 didn't bring games. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Oh, man.
I'm firing the first shot right now.
Wow, the claws come out. Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe the Xbox One had games of the year. Maybe we'll find out. We've sort of hidden our lists from each other. And I still believe that with the criteria that we put out that we're going to have, 3 very different lists. So I'm pretty excited about about how this will all shake out. But in general, you guys, 2013, how would you sort of rate it in terms of a year of gaming? Dan, what do you think?
One of the best game years for sure.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. There's going to be a moment where I'm sure we're all going to become enemies, and it depends on your list. And judging by by the title that you put of the game in the show, I'm just going to hold off any sentiments about making enemies until then. But I think it's been a great year with the consoles. I really enjoyed it. And to me, what's really kind of changed gaming for me, it's not a game, but Twitch. I know there's been explosive growth in Twitch, but I started streaming a year ago thanks to weed, and it's really kind of resurrected, different gaming experience for me, and that's been a huge part of it.
Yeah. So, Dan, do you wanna kick us off?
Yeah, I'll kick us off,
and we'll just rotate through.
Yeah, so I actually have mine in order, so I'm gonna go from number 5 up to number 1.
Okay, I have no particular order, by the way. I can't commit to something like that.
All right, so for my number 5 game, speaking of new consoles, was Dead Rising 3. The game is so much fun. Yes, it's not gonna blow you over with a great story, or and I'm maybe 10 to 12 hours into that, and I haven't advanced the story at all. Just I'm having fun going around. Like you put together a weapon and you can mow down hundreds and hundreds of zombies that are on your screen all at the same time. I mean, there's there's no frame rate drops. There's nothing, and I've had more fun just messing around in that game than I've had in a long time. So if you can tell me a game that's come out for PS4, even to this day, that's that much fun, I'll say right now, Xbox One. If you say a PS4 game is in your top 5 games of the year,
forget about it. No way.
Yeah. Okay. All right. But I honestly feel like for Xbox One, this is what pushed me to get Xbox One, was for this game, and I wasn't disappointed.
Right on. I have not played it, but Dan, that is the one game that I asked for Christmas. So
JP, I know you've played it. I mean,
yeah, for me, I can't put any of the next-gen games on a top 5. At least I don't think. But Dead Rising 3 definitely has a good... if you're looking for just fucking straight-up murdering hordes of zombies all on the screen at the same time, then yeah, that's your game right there. That's a great game. It has a great power-hungry feel to it. Do you have the Ultimate Grim Reaper yet, Dan? Do you know what that is?
I have the one. I have a few of the upgrades. I don't know what's the ultimate.
The ultimate one is the one where as you're killing things, it recharges, and when you hit Y, it shoots grenades out, and dude, you got to get it. You can go level 1 to 50 in 3 hours. You can max out your level just by getting this weapon because it recharges itself as you kill things.
No, that's amazing. I can't wait to get to it. But we were talking earlier about co-op. I mean, I imagine I have a buddy coming home from out of town, and we have a day where we're just gonna play that and just screw around the whole day. And it was such a fun experience. JP kind of hit on the head. If you just want to have fun destroying things, I've never had a better experience in terms of that.
Yeah,
nice.
I would agree.
All right,
it's a good game to kill things in.
I'll go, and I have a feeling that this might have an appearance on someone else's list, but this is probably one of the more obvious ones on my list, so just kind of get it out of the way. But the new Zelda game, A Link Between Worlds, is just phenomenal. I still find myself picking it up. It's still easy to digest in sort of a few different ways. And one of the things that we talked about was the fact that it is not dependent on a certain sequence of dungeons. And I think that makes it even more enjoyable for me to play it in pieces,
Right.
because I don't have to go like, oh shit, like did I just do that one and then I got this and go there? I could just be like, fuck, I completed this dungeon. I can go anywhere. I can do this one or that one. And so that's made it really easy to just pick back up instead of looking at it and go like, I don't even remember what the hell I was doing last. Like, you know, so the gameplay though is just, it's phenomenal. Like it's what I always want out of a Zelda game. And I know a lot of times we play games and we want games because we remember how great they were. And then sometimes we play and we're like, why did I like this, you know? And that was sort of one of the things with Wasteland and Wasteland 2 that, you know, I was a little bit concerned about. But this is like, this just, it triumphs over all those things and delivers that perfect experience of like what I expect the Zelda game to be while innovating at the same time. And it, you know, like, I don't know if you played it, Dan. I know you played it, JP. Did this make your list?
It was not on my list. It was on this bullshit thing that you added. You added the last honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions.
Okay, fair enough.
The only reason it didn't, I'm gonna complete that game next week when I go home for 5 days. That I'm taking my Vita and I'm taking my 3DS and I'm just gonna like go through a bunch of handheld games. So maybe it'll spike up there, but I have not finished a 3DS game yet this year, and I don't. Maybe Zelda will be the first one. I'm hoping it will be. I hope I can stick
Good luck.
with it. Yeah.
Good luck. All right. Well, then go ahead, JP. What do you?
Well, my list is in no particular order. You know, you guys are saying like 5, and you're not going with like your game of the year. I'm starting with my game of the year.
Okay.
And I think this is a game that no one is going to have on their game of the year list.
Okay.
I think that no one is going to expect me to choose this. And I don't think people remember that this game actually came out this year because I didn't until I was looking at a list of games that came out in 2013.
Wow. Now I'm really curious. What the hell?
January of 2013, all the way back in January, a game called Ni no Kuni came out for the PS.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I have been a longtime JRPG fan since I was fucking like, I don't know, 10. And that game was phenomenal. The Ghibli art in it is incredible. The story was great. The gameplay was fantastic. Like I thought that game just had everything. And for me, it was a JRPG that if you are a JRPG fan, you have to play that game. I think it was definitely the best.
It's like playing an anime, man.
Generation.
It's so
Do
amazing.
what?
It's like playing an anime. It's so amazing.
Yeah, it really was. It was a live action or a live anime occurring in front of you. You had control over. It was good. It was good. And it's on sale for like $9 right now on the PS3.
What? That's a steal.
Yeah.
Did you play it?
PS
Yeah,
Plus.
yeah, and I have not finished with it. You know, it was like, it's one of these games that I actually wished I would have waited a little bit because I started playing it with James right around the time where he was just starting to pick up reading. So you couldn't quite keep up with it at the pace that I needed to kind of play the game. But I guarantee you, like, that's one of these games that I'm just going to sit him back down with again and be like, remember this one? Now you can read, right? Like, now you're going to love the hell out of it.
And there's so many like stupid puns in that game. Like every creature, every monster that you fight is named something really stupid that's still related to that animal type.
Yeah.
Which I enjoy little things like that. The only thing that was kind of left a bad taste in my mouth about the game was the ultimate ending. Like the very last 5 minutes of the game was just fucking nonsense. Just it like reached JRPG status in the last 5 minutes of the game.
That sounds like something else I think is going to be mentioned here soon. It's just the last 5 minutes of the ending of the game is just complete garbage. But you know, I didn't play Ni no Kuni, but you're turning me on to it. That
it was fantastic, it was. I didn't realize that was my game of the year until I looked at a list and was like, holy shit, I spent 60 hours in that game in the course of like 2 days. Or that's actually not possible. In the course of like a week. And I forgot how much fun I had with it completely because there were so many other games.
So that was your top dog, your creme de la creme of 2013. Like, that's the game that you're like, this was my best experience.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that, like I said, until I checked the list, and then I saw someone playing it the other day, and I was like, man, that was a great game. That was a lot of fun.
All right. Dan, you're up.
All right, number 4 for me, I'm a big fan of platformers and, the gameplay that indie games have started to bring back. And for me, I got lost in a game that you guys, I think, have both played. I'm almost 100% sure you guys have both played. It's a game that even when you die, you keep coming back for more. And every time you die, if you're a good player, Wheat's probably picking me up, you've improved your character. And it's Rogue Legacy. I mean, when I started playing that, it was incredible. You go back for more, just one more run. And when a game like that can do that for you, like, to me, it's got to be on, a top 5 list just because it's fun to play, it's engaging. And to me, I'm not necessarily sold on, AAA titles that, it's got to have all the glitz and glamour. This game was flat out fun. It kept you coming back for more. My only problem with the game, and it wasn't enough for me to knock it off, was the end boss. I inadvertently cheesed. Like, it was a tough boss, and I got in a situation where, like, I kept doing the same thing over and it was working, and I was kind of disappointed.
I don't think that's cheesing. That's just doing the same thing over and it was working.
It was. I mean, if you saw how I beat it, it's like, how can you put that much time into a game and then knock it out?
It's on sale, by the way, for $8 or $7.50 right now.
That game was pretty good. I finished that game. I forced myself to beat it. It was good.
Wait, did you play it?
The smartest thing that game did is that the gold that you got on your last run, you didn't spend until the beginning of your next run. Like, it annoyed me so much as a gamer because I'm like, I just want to spend the money that I just ran for and stop. But then once they got you in, you're like, yeah, I can go one more time. But then you're like, well, fuck, now I want to spend this money that I just collected. And it's a vicious cycle. And I'm like, damn you, cellar door games. But at the same time, I'm like, this is what makes this game fantastic. And I definitely enjoyed Rogue Legacy. I've not yet finished it, but it's just that little bit of brilliance. It also takes itself not seriously, which makes it so much fun to play.
I will say they actually came out with an update for that this week. They added 4 new bosses and a new character or a new job type or whatever.
Wow. What's the new character type?
I haven't gone back and looked. I just saw like the quick highlight of that on our game. So I need to go back and see what it is.
I'm sure someone will say in chat. Worth $7.50 right now.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's worth 15. I think is what it is. It $20 or $15
It's
usually?
Usually $15. Totally worth that.
It's totally worth it. Yeah.
$7.50. Like you're crazy. You're crazy if you're not jumping on it.
So that's my number 4.
All right.
Go ahead, Wheat.
All right. So all right. So for me, this is probably I don't know that I can really say like game of the year on any of these because I just really enjoyed all of them. But like this game for me, like I wish that there was a new one of these every other week because I would just be in fucking heaven. And I played this game, and you got to understand, you guys, like I love stupid shit like the show Ghost Hunters, where they go to East State Penitentiary and they set up cameras and they try to capture paranormal and do EVPs and shit. So when I played Outlast, I actually almost shat my pants several times. And it has to be one of my favorite playthroughs that I've also ever done because it is such a genuine display of like, oh shit, emotion. And I like, it's one of, like, why do people go to haunted houses? Like, you get that thrill, that adrenaline rush of being scared shitless. Like, actually playing through something like that was just phenomenal. And the ways that they continued to sort of scare me or keep the flow of the game running with the chase, like, I fucking loved this game. Like, Outlast was so good, and I just, like I said, I wish there was a new one every other week because I'd be right there playing with them all the time. Yeah,
I played that based on your recommendation because I wanted to play one around Halloween. I played Amnesia. I'm like, this is nothing to me. And then when you said Outlast, I agree with everything you said. That first moment, and spoiler, when you open that library door for the first time, I mean, like, whenever you felt like that playing a game, I think that's a strong pick. I loved Outlast too.
Yeah, it was great. Did you ever play it, JP? Outlast?
I mean, look, I watched you play, and that was enough.
Okay.
That's not your.
I respect those games, and I've played through like Amnesia. I didn't play through the new one, but I played through the original. They're just not my type of games. Like, I guess I'm not looking to be like more stressed afterwards
I understand.
than I was before going in.
Sure.
But like even watching you play that game, I could see why like it would be on someone's list. I think that they really, compared to almost any other horror game that I've seen in a long ass time, like they did a really, really good job. The whole camera thing was just amazing. Like it was so well done, and they really figured that out. They really figured that out, and really, I think it was the best part of that game was how that worked. That mechanic of it was great.
Yeah, well, the genius of it was, and that kind of hit me after. There's no weapons. There's like literally all you do is walk through this funhouse, and that's it. There's very little interaction.
Yeah, your only weapon is hiding, basically, and like you, obviously the camera does give you an advantage, but all in all, just fantastic experience. Just fantastic. Loved it.
Yeah, and I that game is 100% a fucking scary game. Like,
yeah,
that's one of the
shit, man.
Where it's scary as a motherfucker.
And
like, holy shit.
I mean, if you don't want to play it and you want to experience, like, I not to like pimp my own shit, but like over on YouTube.com/DJWheat, there's just like some moments. Yeah, this one guy commented, he's like, the guys that made the game are like brilliant in like how they script it, how they think people would react to certain situations. And there's like one in particular where I'm running away from these mobs, and before me is like a huge jump, and you like they don't put all like these very long jumps in front of you, so you hit it and you're like, I don't think I can make this. So there's this like whole chase sequence where I'm like, obviously like, oh fuck, like they're after me. I'm like trying to look behind me, and I get to the jump and I'm like, I can't make this. And I turn around and I see like a guy come around the fucking door, and I'm like, oh my fucking God. And then I just go for it. And some guys like you couldn't have scripted that any better. And I feel like that's the type of responses the game gets out of you. And it really is fucking brilliant.
Yeah, I really want to see what that studio does next. I hope it's more of the same, because they get that genre for sure. They understand how to fuck with a player. And if they put that on the fucking you could put a pay-per-view model up on your stream if they put that out and you play it on an Oculus Rift.
I know. I could.
I still want to watch.
I'd die like 10 years earlier before I was supposed to. Just love it.
Have you seen some of those videos of the people playing the Oculus Rift horror games?
I have.
Holy shit, dude! I'm never doing that ever. That's too much.
Do they like flail their arms and throw punches and then?
Well, no, it's just because like you're so in the game. Like when they do like a jump scare or something like appears right before you, it feels like that's really happening. So the reaction that you're having to that is like times 100. It is a really fucking scary feeling. Even just watching it is scary. I can't even imagine what it's like having the actual thing on. So, anyways, I guess I'll throw another game out there. What else? I mean, I think eventually we're gonna get down to kind of the ones that are on everyone else's list. So I'll throw out something that probably won't be on y'all's list, and that was that I didn't realize this came out this year either. I thought it was last year. It's Metro Last Light. While it wasn't the most captivating single player experience, the gunplay was good, and I think it kind of like is the PC snob in me, but I don't think there's a better looking game this year. It was the game that I played first when I got my new graphics card, and it just looks fucking unreal good. Like incredible atmosphere in that game, probably the best I think in all the games, and it does it purely through what you're seeing and what you're hearing. And I had a lot of fun. I didn't even play the first Metro, and I don't think you have to fully appreciate Metro Last Light. Just fantastic game. And if you have the hardware to support it, it looks fucking unbelievable. Just the best graphics ever that I've seen.
So is that on your list because it visually was the best, or was
I think visually, yeah. I think it's on my list visually. The story in it is definitely. It's not bad, but the reason I kept playing is because I wanted to see what they could do with that engine. And every time I stepped outside, or every time one of the things that they do in the game, you can like swipe your mask like clean off the blood or the dirt or whatever on it. And every time that animation happened, I was just like, God, this is a fucking gorgeous game, because it looks so good when they do it.
Wait, did you play it?
No, I haven't. I haven't played this one. Even the first game was really held in high regard, and even I would be on the side of the fence of how gorgeous it was.
Yeah.
You know, although it lacked like it was a bit linear. You know, this game just it looks gorgeous.
JP, can I risk pissing you off to tell you why I didn't play this game?
No, go ahead. I don't get offended by this stuff, so feel free.
Okay. To me, I looked at it, I'm like, okay, I know it's an action game, but it looked like they're trying to rip off Fallout 3. And I know it's a totally different genre, but I looked at it, I'm like, you know, I've already played this game, and there's no way I can hold a candle to it. So for me, I passed on it.
Sure. It is more like, in my opinion, Fallout 3 wasn't an FPS. It was more of an RPG. Yeah, there's no RPG in this game. It is purely FPS. There's no like skill tree or anything like that. It's just shooting stuff, collecting stuff, and like watching it all just happen in front of you in this gorgeous game. And there actually was an incredibly scary moment in that game towards the end, where they actually kind of it brought back memories of watching you play Outlast, because they do this thing where how can I set this up without spoiling it? There's like voices going on, and they're little children's voices going on like 360 degrees around you.
Yeah.
And like you walk into a room and like all the lights will start to like pop or dim and like get real dark as you're walking through, and these voices start coming in. It's really fucked up. And then like something will pop out. So maybe that's just every horror game ever. But the atmosphere that it created and the way that it looks was really, really incredible.
And just to clarify, because the chat room is getting fired up right now, thematically, it looks like Fallout 3. I know the games are nothing alike. It's an FPS versus like an RPG. But thematically, like you look at the armor on, you know, just first glance, I'm like, all right, this kind of looks like Fallout.
And
but
we all know that Fallout just ripped off all their shit from Wasteland, so it comes full circle yet again. I mean, it's all Warhammer, Blizzard all over again, really.
Playing that game, the last thing I'll say on it, playing that game makes me so much more excited for Witcher 3, because I know how good Witcher 3 is going to look, and I've seen like the limits of what the PC can do at this point in time. And so if Witcher 3 looks better than that, then I'm already there. Like I'm already sold. It's going to be incredible for an RPG to look that good.
Right on. All right, let's continue. Dan,
all right,
you're up.
I'm up with number 3, and this one is, you know, I don't know that it's going to be on a lot of lists because I know it's not officially released, but for me, I'd always been a fan of a similar genre, but this company has seemed to take it and kind of make it even more fun and more engaging and really easy to pick up and play, whether, you know, I'm at home or I'm on the road on a Mac, and it's Hearthstone. Like, I've never been more drawn into a game where I don't spend in-game money. Like, I don't buy in-game credits, like on anything. I'm like really against that. But this game, it's broken down that wall for me, and I really have just enjoyed playing it because it makes it, like, I've played Magic before. I played Magic Online. I really enjoyed it. But this is like something you can play for 15 minutes as long as you don't get sucked in or you don't want to get your 3 wins for the day. But I really just enjoyed the experience of it. You know, you can get in, and when even just the small nuances, like whether it's the cards physically attacking one another or clicking around the map, it's a typical Blizzard game where they do everything right. But I just really enjoyed the experience of playing this game.
The maps, like I guess they're levels, maybe you can call them maps, whatever that is, like the design of that. Yeah, the boards where like you can just like, I think the best example is whatever the Alliance or human level is, where it has the church and you break the stained glass, or where it's in the jungle and you click the little, the like ruby eye.
Yeah. Those
fucking sound effects, like whoever made those effects should be like fucking given CEO for a day or something, because they are so well done.
That's
for a small, like, second-long sound effect. It was so good.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why the game is so ridiculously appealing. Like, it's so hard for me to be around someone who's playing the game and not just like want to hover over them and like, okay, you know, like it's just, and I feel like that's a cool aspect to that game. It seems welcome, right? Like even my brother came in, like not that hardcore of a gamer, loves Hearthstone. You know, he'll come in and then suddenly it's like it's two minds playing the same, you know, the same deck and shit. There's something cool about it. It is really revitalizing the whole trading card scene because it's getting people interested in physical cards as well, which I think is really awesome. And I'm sure not even Blizzard had sort of expected that to happen, but Magic's obviously been doing really well lately. There's a lot of cool new trading card games coming out both digitally and physically. So I agree with you. Like, I think Hearthstone, even in its beta form, has already had a huge impact on gaming this year.
Yeah, and that's something. It's not even out yet. It's not even been fully like unleashed to everyone. And this thing, I mean, it's going to be a beast of its own. It already is,
dude. When it's on
didn't
iPad,
that just go open beta?
Fuck, I don't know if it went open beta, but I mean, like, I think a lot of people have been getting into the game.
Yeah.
So,
but even like I know JP was talking about the sound effects, but the small seconds of time where you may be bored, where there's nothing you're physically doing, they put something in it for you to do. Like if you notice when you actually do that, it's the small period of time when you're waiting for them to make a decision. So they've even like made that part of the game entertaining. It's I really enjoyed it, but
it is pretty good, that's for sure.
I think it definitely deserves to be on that list. So, all right. This is going to be my what the fuck choice of the year. So I actually talked about this game when it first came out on 8-bits, and I have not stopped playing it, and I still play it every day to this day, and I'm like almost a little bit embarrassed, but not really. It runs in a beautiful 60 FPS on my iPad, and the game is called Hello Hero. And you're going to be like, how could you put a fucking mobile game on your and because if I have to choose a game based off of the number of hours, the sheer number of hours that I've put into a game, even if it's casually a little bit every day, then this game is on my list. And just so that people who don't know what it has the Puzzles and Dragons formula where you have all of these creatures that you're leveling up. But what it does is instead of giving you a puzzle game, everything is a Final Fantasy battle. So you have your items and you have your like special skills and you attack, and it's just very, very basic fights like this. And I don't know what to say, guys, but this game makes my list. It's fun as hell. It's addicting as shit. And it's like that perfect, I need to waste 15 minutes, and this is how I'm going to do it on mobile.
Well, like I said, I take your mobile recommendations, your mobile reviews on your YouTube channel seriously, so I downloaded that. It was fun. My knock on that, though, is you have to be connected to freaking Wi-Fi to play it. So,
you do.
So I can't play it on a plane, but
that is true.
So, but outside of that, it is everything you described, but because of that, Wheat's mobile fanboyism coming out.
I mean, like
strong.
people are saying dumbest pick, but it's like, you can't tell me you've never played a game that you haven't enjoyed for just hours. Like for many, this is not going to obviously be their one of their favorite games of 2013. But how can I ignore a game that I've actually put so much fucking time into? Like I give these guys credit because there's so much shit out there. Like Dan said, there's so much stuff that anything that gets more than 20 minutes out of me is usually like they've accomplished something that not very many game companies can. So you can't play it, like you've got to have an internet connection, but that hasn't stopped me even on my travels. I'm embarrassed to say. So for mobile fans, this is definitely my top mobile pick for 2013.
There you go. What else do I have on here? I don't know if this is going to be on y'all's list, at least. I think it's going to be on a lot of people's list. Super Mario 3D World for the Wii U. And one of the things that I think a lot of people struggle with when it comes to, at least that I struggle with, when it comes to like putting games on a list, is the idea that like all of the games that I have on my list, apart from Ni no Kuni, are all games that I have played in the past 2 months. So they're like fresh in my mind, right? So I think that maybe Super Mario 3 isn't as good as I say it is, but like the amount of pure joy that game brought, and like the fact that I died a lot and I wasn't in the slightest upset, and that like every single level is completely different from the one prior, I think makes that it's definitely the best Wii U game of the year. There's no doubt about that, because there's only like 2 others. But it was just a super joyful is what I'm trying to say when it comes to games, man. No other game made me feel like just like it's actually like a game to me. It's a Nintendo game. It's the purest form of joy I think there is.
JP, let me ask you this: what type of nostalgia came from this game? Because I would love to play it. I don't have a Wii U, but like, does that have anything to do with it?
I mean, I'm not too nostalgic for like the old school Marios. I think, well, maybe
you
for
get
like,
to be a cat, Dan. Damn it!
Yeah, cats are pretty good.
You get to be a freaking cat.
The cat's actually kind of overpowered. But
What?
Yeah, the cat's kind of overpowered in the game.
Cat OP.
Yeah. I think it was just the fact that it was the team that made Super Mario Galaxy, and that game for me was one of the best Wii games, and they're just so smart and so playful when it comes to like level designs and the different mechanics that they bring in, and like the mechanics that they use in this game you'll probably never see again in any Mario game. And I just love the fact that they are willing to try like wild fucking shit. Like there's a fucking cat suit in this game. Like that speaks for itself. The levels are so varied, like I was saying.
So why doesn't Nintendo make more of those games so it actually justifies buying a Wii U instead of?
I don't know. Crap. I mean, there's only one team that's put out this type of stuff that puts out these types of games. So Nintendo definitely fucked up this year, but I think Super Mario 3D World is kind of that killer app for the Wii U for a lot of people. It's not selling that well though. It's only sold like 170,000 units to life.
Well, God, you can't find it anywhere.
You can't find it anywhere.
Fuck, no wonder, Jesus. But you know what? Like that's the risk that's run right when you have you have a console that has it's not the Wii. It doesn't have 8 bazillion units out there. They can't just, I guess, make that many. But they also have the bundle too, and I guess the bundle's helped. But I don't know.
So I think that game has the best music of the year for me. If I had to classify like best music of the year, that just fucking incredible music in that game. Even the start menu music, like I would sit there on the stream and just listen to it for like 20 minutes before even playing, because it was so damn good. So if you have a Wii U, make sure you buy that game.
Got it.
All right. Number 2 for me, and one of the things I think we need to preface is when we set the guidelines for gaming of 2013, our best choices was that it didn't necessarily have to come out in 2013.
Yep.
And although I played a ton of games that were released in 2013, some of which, I'd like to forget, but for this one, when you talk about like, I first experienced it this year. I think it might have came out last year, but the feelings and emotions that this game invokes and the characters, when you say one of the 2 lead characters' names, if you've played the game, you can't help but feeling one way or another about them. And for me, it was playing through The Walking Dead Season 1. And I didn't have a chance to play it when it first came out. I played it this past year, and just without giving away too much, those who didn't, there's moments in the game when something was happening physically to a character, and I'm like, ow, like you almost felt it because you're so engrossed in the game. And it's not, it does exactly what it's supposed to do. It takes a story, it pulls you in, and doesn't try to do anything it's not supposed to do. It's not, in my opinion, it's not, you don't play that, everyone knows you don't play it for gameplay, but the immersiveness that game pulls you in to actually care about characters and to get angry when, Kenny does something stupid. Like, I've never felt myself in a long time get that emotionally invested in a game and actually caring about a 12-year-old girl. It was strange, but I love the entire experience.
I mean, I cannot argue at all. It was was amazing. And we always talk about those games that can actually connect you with characters, beyond just on the surface. And it's hard to do, especially for video games, but they nailed it. Like, up and down is fantastic.
So that was, I know it's not a 2013, but it was just, I couldn't leave it off my list.
Yeah, I totally respect it. Like you said, there are very few games that you have an emotional response to, and that's probably one of the best I think that we've had in a long time.
Well, and I think a lot of games try to do that, and a lot of games fail. And I know a game that's on everyone's top 5 lists, in my opinion, has epically failed. And I'm just waiting to drop the boom hammer on it. But I think a lot of games try to make these engrossing stories and these characters with so much depth, and it's not done very well. But this is one. Even I'm looking at people in chat like swearing at Kenny and talking about Lee. I mean, you immediately connect, and a lot of people try to do it, but they freaking nailed it.
Well, you're not going to get to drop the hammer yet, Dan. However, speaking of like connecting the characters, my next pick is so I mean, first and foremost, I got to say, like, there's a lot of characters in my sort of gaming growing up that I just I love, and they invoke a lot of different memories. And for me, this game, like, there was a moment during this game, and I'm going to spoil the fuck out of it because I don't care. But, like, there's a moment in this game. Actually, I got to tell you what it is first. It's Tomb Raider. And it's the reboot
that almost made my list.
Of Tomb Raider. And I'll tell you, the moment in the game is that, like, there's certain iconic things about Laura, right? They obviously changed her appearance a little bit. Like, yeah, she used to have the big old polygon boobs, but they, like, toned it down a little bit. But, like, sort of the ponytail, just, like, how she looks, even her moves and some of the things she does. But one of the fucking iconic things about Laura was her double pistols. And this fucking game, you don't even realize it, that the game is just building up to this one point where fucking Laura motherfucking Croft pulls out a second gun that she gets from her enemy, and you're like, oh my fucking God, like, this is it. I've been waiting like 12 years for this, and it happened. And I was so fucking happy. The fanboy in me was just like over the top, like, yes, like, this is how you fucking reboot a series. And for that reason, not only that, but I mean, the hair, man, that hair.
Did you play with Tress Effects on?
You better believe I did, JP. And that shit was amazing. I loved it. I loved the game. I loved how horrible it was with Laura's deaths and how, like, gruesome and
that was so
terrible
great.
They were.
That game was great.
Like, I loved some of the horrible writing in it, but I loved the fact that they were just throwing me little, like, Laura, Easter eggs, and then at the end they dropped the big one on me, and I can't wait for the next one.
Next one will be great too. Are you gonna replay it on the Xbox One or PS4 with that Ultimate or Definitive Edition, I think is the actual name of it?
No, because, like, they're just adding what I already experienced on PC.
Did you play it on PC?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So
my favorite part about that game was just trolling the chat by how many ways I could pronounce Laura or Laura, or because, like, every character said it differently. Yeah, actually. They did. I think I heard Laura. Like Laura like 4 or 5 times. Laura was definitely in there. There was some other bullshit names that Lara. Yeah, you could say Lara and take the U out. That was great, trolling the chat with that. That also was the #1 game that fucked my YouTube channel over when I was trying to put a Let's Play up over it. So
thanks a lot, Square Enix.
Yeah, Square Enix, keep doing the good work. Well, I think me and Wheat are saving the game that Dan wants to shit on for last. Yeah. So I'll throw out another one here, and it's probably a lot of people will be upset because they can't actually play it. But it's the game where if I have free time or if I'm doing something else that's work related, I can't wait to go and play this game, and that's Battlefield 4. Like, I spent way too much time in that game already, and I think that it has the moments in it that Battlefield 2 had for me, where I always want to be playing that game. Battlefield 3 kind of had that, but not so much. And I think when it works, when it's not crashing, when you're playing with 3 other friends in your squad, or 4 other friends in your squad, like, you can't beat that. It's incredibly fun.
I would agree with that. I mean, outside of crashing and them overcharging for the game and DLC.
Yeah. Oh, there's a billion things wrong with it. Trust me.
But I agree. When because we played a little bit together, and, like, that was like, I mean, you get into it, like, you're.
Oh yeah.
I I'm on board with that. I just wish they would have. JP, if you would have told them to do one thing, would you tell them just take the foot off the gas and delay releasing it? I mean, because I feel like this could have been like such a bigger hit.
The shitty, or not the shitty thing. The weird thing is like the crashes towards the end of the beta weren't there. Like I don't actually know what caused like all of this nonsense to start occurring. If they just have like, if the people that were working on the game during the beta and before beta like started moving on to the next one or what, and they had like the shitty programmers come in, or I'm not sure, but it's just fucked up. Like it's unplayable on the PS4 at this point from what I've been told. You can't even sometimes you can't even load up into a game. Like there are just rampant issues on both consoles for it. And even on PS4, like I know a bunch of people that have like servers that for whatever reason, the hardware on the server does not work with the game, and it'll just crash like every 30 minutes. And that's very unfortunate.
And they don't know if it's like video card related or what.
I think they know, but it's just like there's so many other things wrong with that game when it comes to the actual code that they're just trying to fix it all like as fast as possible. And I think they put out a patch for it last week or maybe earlier this week. And it was unplayable for like anyone that didn't have 600 series or better card on NVIDIA. Like you just couldn't play it. It would just crash outright. And so they had to hotfix that immediately after. And I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with like their QA for that game, if they even test these patches or if they're just like, fucking get it out there. Get it out there. It's going to work. It's like, oh shit, bring it back in. You got to retroactively take it back. Everyone's fucking up. So it's my game though that I'm always wanting to play more of and hoping that it doesn't crash every second of the game.
Well, I can relate to that, and then this is my best gaming experience of this past year. Now, mind you, this game for my number one came out 2 years ago in 2011, and this game, and on par with what Wheat said, the amount of time that he's sunk into Hello Hero. I've sunk in an embarrassing amount of time into this game, and the second this show is over, I'm probably going to fire it up and play it again. And although it's 2 years old, and I don't know what your guys' experience has been with it, but frankly, I've never, in the longest time, from gameplay to the simple story to the fact that it begs you to keep coming back to play it, the Binding of Isaac for me has taken over my entire life.
Wow.
And I've spent hundreds of hours playing this game. I think and to play a game, and if you haven't seen it, the best way to describe it is it's a twisted Legend of Zelda, the original. It has that type of a gameplay, and it's just the reason I was trying to think about this, why do you keep going back to play the Binding of Isaac? And the fact is, for kind of one reason, the replay value on it is infinite because of the RNG, the random runs that every single time you play, you're going to, just like you guys were talking about Dota, JP, you've played 2,500 games, but every match is different. The same thing for this game. It's incredible. And some people are saying there is a story in the game, and you just have to, it's not this overarching, like, in-depth story, but it's enough to keep you coming back.
Just like Rogue Legacy, right?
Yeah, just like that. And I've never had so much fun playing it, and just I think about it, and just anytime I get a chance to play it, I do. And I mentioned it because we've never talked about this in JP, neither have I, and I know it's a 2-year-old game. And if you haven't played this game, you can get it for under $5 or $5.
Right. You
got to get it, and at least try it give yourself an hour to play it. But did you guys play this when it came out?
I put like you said, an hour into it. It's not my type of game, I think, is the biggest thing. Or maybe I didn't put enough time into it. Mm-hmm. But I know that game is like beloved by a gigantic fan base, and they're all eagerly awaiting whatever the next release of it is.
Right?
Rebirth. Rebirth, which is like I'm on a mission to. This is how obsessed I am. Like to platinum or to get all the 100% in this game. It's very, very difficult. But I'm trying to do this before Rebirth comes out, because when Rebirth comes out, it's going to be on a different engine. So this is actually a Flash-based game, and they're redoing all the graphics. But it's just,
Oh, okay, that might be what gets me to play it then.
Yeah.
Honestly, the reason I didn't like it is because it was locked at like 1024 by 768 resolution.
There, JP, the visual snob.
I was just like, God damn it! Why am I playing like a fucking square? I just want to alt enter and full screen it. It'd be so much more enjoyable.
But you're playing the super what is that game called? Super Dance Man? You said you were playing that for hours earlier today.
Oh yeah,
Super Electronic.
Yeah. No, I get it. Like I see why that game is beloved and why it is so addictive and all that stuff. I don't know. I can't get into it for whatever reason.
I guess that's my Hello Hero. Wheat, did you play Binding of Isaac ever?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, on like some of the original incarnations, and I like it too. I mean, I kind of agree that it has sort of that Rogue Legacy setting. Yeah. But I was originally drawn to it because of the art and sort of the fact that it presents itself in that twisted Legend of Zelda style, just like you said. Yeah. But there's also for me sometimes when I play games that don't necessarily have an ending, even though they do, like they're harder for me to complete just because of how I consume games. Right. But I've watched you play this game, and it's pretty evident just by watching your stream that you enjoy the shit out of it. So I'm not surprised.
It's my Hello Hero. So
yeah, for sure.
That being said, I'm guessing you guys are saving your best. Or
you go best. First, and if it's the same one, I won't interrupt. I'll just add on.
I mean, I don't even know that you should not interrupt because I'm pretty sure it is because we've talked about it many times. But undoubtedly, my favorite game of 2013 because of the experience. Because of the fact that Naughty Dog has time and time again delivered some of the most amazing gaming experiences that I've experienced on consoles today. Not only from a gameplay experience, but more importantly from a cinematic experience. And so I absolutely loved The Last of Us.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get that Dan doesn't like it, and I feel like I've talked with Dan about this a little bit, but I loved it.
I'm boiling right now. JP, what were your thoughts on The Last of Us?
I played it in a single sitting. I think that game is the only game that has like morally fucked me up for a long time. Like after playing it. Like I sat there and I honestly sat there and reflected on it for a long time.
Okay.
Did you beat it, Dan?
I beat it. And this is why I don't play Naughty Dog games. You said a cinematic experience. If I want a cinematic experience, I'll go see The Hobbit. And for me, what ruined this game for me, and I'm all for capitalism, I'm all for that. But if you're going to name this game the best game of the year, that freaking ending, that is the hottest garbage I've ever seen in my life. That to me says...
Well, go ahead. Sorry.
That to me says nothing more than we're going to turn out the sequel in 2 years and everyone's going to love it.
But they already said they're not like that. But I think that actually makes the ending more impactful.
But there's DLC and there's no way that game should have ended like that. No way. That is freaking.
I think there is an argument to be said that the reason that you're so hot bothered by this speaks to how good the game was. The fact that you care so much that the ending ended like that says that you were emotionally invested in it.
I was, and then they just took my experience and then they just crapped all over. Naughty Dog smacked me in the face and said, "You know what? You were emotionally invested in this game, and you know what? We just flicked you off because we don't respect you enough to give you a decent ending."
Dan, we just flew you in. Welcome to the Naughty Dog Studios. We're releasing The Last of Us Director's Cut coming out here in the next 6 months. You have the opportunity to rewrite the ending. I want to hear from you right now. How do you wrap this game up?
Also, spoilers, people. Take your
spoilers
off if you don't want to know the ending to Last of Us.
Okay, first off, everyone got so emotional because, oh my God, he lied to her. One of those people has to die in the end of that game. You don't save. She's sitting on a freaking bed, and the magical cure comes. He saves her and walks her out, and then just the way that they framed that, being cinematically, they zoom in on Joel's head, looking at her like we're all supposed to figure out that he lied to her. Who cares? Just the way that someone has to die in that ending. You want a great story in a game? That's not it. Play freaking Red Dead Redemption. That's a game that had me emotionally invested all the way through. For people that say this is like the biggest, and I'm not going to say hipster, but the biggest hype movement to put this game on everyone's #1 list. It just freaking disgusts me because it's just they took, and the other thing, things that happen in that game happen in the freaking Walking Dead. I wonder where they got their ideas from. Oh, probably reading the graphic novels. Things that happen. Oh, there's freaking cannibals, and it's all been done before.
Even if you take out the ending, like you can't. Like the game is one of the most gorgeous games of the year. I mean, in terms of voice acting and some of the fucking shit games that I play, it's got some of the best motion capture and some of the best voice acting that you've ever seen in a game. So, like, I mean, I just don't even think that it's fair that even if you don't like this to me, this sounds like a Lost argument, right? Lost is a fucking amazing television show, but people, they actually crucified it because they didn't like the last 2 episodes, which, by the way, were still goddamn amazing. And so people got on the train of like, yeah, well, Lost was good except for the fucking ending. So like, I can understand that sort of like thought process behind it, but I cannot ignore how amazing. If I was to judge the first 15 minutes of this game against most of the $60 titles that I played this year, that 15 minutes was a better experience than some of those $60 fucking titles that I played. And that to me makes a game worthy of going up on a best.
Well, let me ask this. From a gameplay standpoint, what was revolutionary about it that puts it on the list? Or does the story get it on everyone's top 2? What was revolutionary about the gameplay of that? It was Uncharted with a freaking survival story.
I don't even think necessarily that the gameplay is revolutionary. I think
I don't think
what
so
they accomplished and sort of like I mean, it's the experience. It's kind of like, like when I play a game like Uncharted or like Last of Us, I know that I'm getting into it going, this is partially me going to be shooting people, and it's going to be me like enjoying the story that Naughty Dog is putting out in front of me. And that's why I love Nathan Drake, and that's why I love Joel and Ellie and all of this, because that's what they do. I can't even name another game that like lately, like maybe a Mass Effect type kind of does that, but even then, like who else lives up to that standard? Like I can't find it anywhere else really, except for maybe like Telltale, and that is like really thin in terms of gameplay. Like, dude, honestly, I hit my keyboard fucking 20 times when I played The Walking Dead Season 2. Is there actually gameplay?
Also, let's just be clear. Spoilers are over. The spoilers time is past. No more spoilers.
But the experience you got from The Walking Dead is what you expected. And for you, I'm guessing both of you guys got the experience you expected from The Last of Us. For me, I went into it thinking, okay, I'm playing an interactive movie. Yes, the gameplay isn't, but the storyline better freaking drive it home. And I guess I'm taking a step back. I'm extremely just disgusted with the story, more so than anything else, and to the point where it's influenced me to probably play never play again another Naughty Dog game.
Wow. I think
That's
if anything,
crazy. Like, why would you just denounce a whole like Uncharted is one of the best video game franchises in the world? Why would you? Like that's.
I played the first Uncharted. I didn't play the second or third. That like in JP's, that's not my type of game. If I want to see,
amazing. Oh my god, Uncharted 2 is like it's unbelievably amazing.
That's where we disagree. It's if I want a great cinematic or story or feels experience, I'm going to play Telltale. I'm going to play those games. Naughty Dog failed me, and
oh my gosh, Dan.
It's just
Dan.
Sorry.
I'm putting you up for nomination this week, brother.
I'm so
putting you up
angry.
for nomination. Only the veto can save you this week, man.
And you know how that normally works out.
True that.
Okay, so all right, I'm gonna have an adult discussion about this. So you guys were satisfied, like I'm done ranting. You guys were satisfied with the ending?
Yeah, I think the spoilers again, guys. Take your headsets off if you don't want spoilers. Okay, the time has passed. You should have your headset off now. I think that the way they ended the game is the harder way to end that game. I think killing off one of those characters is the easy way out to ending that game. And I think with both of them, with them doing what they did was the complete, unexpected, whatever. Like in any world, I never fathomed that they would do that, and how they slowly were like roll that ending onto you. I think was beautiful, and it was perfect. It's how I wanted that game to end without even knowing it. And I was a little bit upset, but at the same time, like, I'm glad they ended it that way because I was so attached to those two characters.
My response to the ending is, quite frankly, I would have been upset on any ending because, Dan, I didn't want the damn game to end. And that's another reason why I would put it on my list, is that, like, I was more disappointed that the credits were rolling, knowing that I had no more Last of Us to play.
All right. So, I just think that through that experience, I've learned that that's not my type of game, and get off the hype train because it's coming through. When the awards come out, I think Last of Us is winning in terms of like how many Game of the Year awards it's gotten. I saw on Kotaku. Also, BioShock Infinite, which wasn't on any of our list, I think is
on my honorable mention.
Same here.
Yeah, I mean,
only because I hated the gameplay, but the story in that game was incredible as well.
See, but just listen to what you said. You hated the gameplay, but the story is incredible. These are games, and that's my point. Is like, if I want a cinematic experience, we'll go to the movies. But the games on my list are all fun to freaking play, with the exception of The Walking Dead. But I guess I just trumped myself there. But at the same time, like, they're games, you know.
But there's fun and there's like experiences. I mean, in talking about BioShock, honestly, again, the BioShock world and story could effectively disappoint me. Like, I'm not, I don't know what I necessarily expect out of those games. But, what I love about BioShock is I love the environment. Like, I love being underwater in Rapture. I love being in this, floating world where it has a look and feel that other games don't offer. So, like, to me, there's that difference between fun and the experience. And it's crazy, Dan, because on everything we've talked about and bringing up, like, that line gets blurred more and more, right? Mm-hmm. And that's actually pretty cool as far as gaming is concerned. But it's pretty rare when you get those experiences. Like, BioShock, again, was just another experience for me. The story, there were aspects of it I really liked and aspects of it that were just I wasn't that fond of. But I still thought it was, again, just like such an amazing environment.
Yeah. By the way, Last of Us has 26, Grand Theft Auto 5, 21, BioShock Infinite 4, and then there's a bunch of just one votes. Animal Crossing, Brothers, Dragon's Dogma, Dark Arisen, which is kind of surprising.
Brothers Zelda, I had on my honorable mentions as well.
Yeah, same here. Luigi's Mansion, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, maybe. Papers, Please, and then Tomb Raider. Those aren't fully, that's not every single one, but that's just the list that they have so far.
I mean, it's a good year.
I think that Last of Us will be kind of the one that gets all of the Game of the Years from everyone.
Sorry.
Every time a new one's announced, just know that, like, an angel gets its wings ripped off in the game development.
And I think that's totally fine. Like, I enjoy that people hold true to whatever games they enjoy. I think where it goes sour is where people are like fucking angry as shit and they want to like kill this person for choosing it for their Game of the Year. That's where I'm just like, what the fuck are you really doing? Like,
Dan, I think you should play Uncharted 2, man.
Am I going to be disappointed like I was in The Last of Us?
Uncharted 2?
I don't even remember. I remember that train level, but I don't remember much else apart from that.
So, and what does that say about what do you remember from it? Like, I don't know.
Dan,
I have no more words.
I remember how fucking awesome it was.
I remember it being great, yeah. It was just a long, long time ago. Yeah. And that was what, 2010, 2011? When did that come out?
I don't know. I'd have to go grab my copy. I can see it right now.
Some people in the chat are asking about Grand Theft Auto 5.
It just didn't deserve Game of the Year for me.
The one thing that GTA 5 did right was Trevor was probably the best character of the year. In terms of just a single character, I think he was the best.
I agree.
Fleshed out character-wise is the best.
I've never had a more whining, complaining, freaking job jeopardizing character in a game.
Of course, that's what made it
great. That's great. That's why I love him.
I don't want to say spoilers. I'll talk to you guys after the show about what ending you picked. But
I picked C, I think.
Wait, did you pick C?
Yes, I did.
I did not.
Interesting.
But
I went back and did A and B, but I picked C.
I like Trevor as well.
See, but like, don't you feel like he was created to placate towards the masses? Oh, everyone's gonna talk about Trevor, where like a character like Michael is freaking.
Oh, Michael! Don't get me wrong. All the characters were amazing.
Yeah, they're all great.
Yeah, but Trevor's the guy. I was like, I would watch a show every week on FX about this character. You know?
Yeah.
In fact, I'd watch a show with all three of them. To be honest with you, but.
There were times I felt like we're watching the Three Stooges, like that type of dynamic where they all like had character that they
That's
played.
What if Grand Theft Auto did anything right, it was the fact that they did the story with 3 characters, and it's one of the only games that I've ever seen pull that off.
Yeah,
where it intermixes all the stories and it makes that like work. It wasn't boring playing Michael when I could have been playing Trevor.
Right.
I wasn't pissed off that I was having to play one character when I wanted to be playing another or anything like that. It was They were all characters.
Yep.
I don't think there was like a bad mission with any of those characters in it. They were all just very unique missions. Like if you're playing Michael, you're going to be doing something in like upscale. If you're playing Trevor, you're doing something out in the country. If you're playing, I can't even think of the other character's name right now. Yeah, Franklin, you're probably doing something in the hood. So I think that was great. They all served their purpose.
Yeah, it was one of the few games I finished, but like I'd mentioned earlier, like I can't 100% a game like that. More stuff was popping up on the map, and I'm just like, ah.
Just get me through the story.
Yeah, but
Lamar was great, chat. I agree. Lamar was pretty funny.
The reason that JP gave for pretty much just the characters was why I played that game. It was not the driving. It was not the gameplay. In fact, I had more complaints about that than a lot of other games throughout the year. But it was the characters and sort of that keeping me going the entire time. Just wasn't worthy enough to go on my list. What about disappointment? Any like major? I know we need to wrap up here in just a moment, but any like major disappointments in 2013?
I mean, I'm sure there are.
I mean, obviously one of the big ones is like SimCity.
SimCity.
Yeah, I had to erase that from memory. Was that really at the end of the day, that game, for what it was, I had fun playing that game.
I did too,
but it was not a Sim. They could have not, if they would have called it anything else but SimCity, I think that game would have had a completely different like life or world around it. But the fact that SimCity was tied to it, the hype in that game was just fucking epic proportions. Like everyone wanted that game to be the game of their childhood, and it wasn't.
It definitely wasn't.
Biggest disappointment of the year for me, you guys. Last of Us. I mean, it's, I just came down. My blood pressure just went back to a normal level. But Last of Us. I just want to get that on the record. Biggest disappointment of the year. Last of Us.
Still no word on The Last Guardian.
Yeah, word on that. It's true.
The Ouya.
I mean, was that even a
Yeah.
disappointment, or was that just a fucking epic fail?
I don't know. I don't know.
If you have an Ouya, just chuck it out in the street and watch a semi truck run over it. Why would you buy that?
Yeah.
I mean, what else is big disappointments?
I think
Watch Dog getting delayed.
Yeah, Watch Dog getting delayed. Final Fantasy continues to disappoint for the 30th year in a row. Like, that's one of the franchises that I hope 15 is actually decent and not just god awful terrible. Or even Lightning Returns, which I guess is the next one to come out. I hope it's not terrible, because I really like Ni no Kuni. Like I said, was the JRPG of the year for me.
You know this. Did you guys play Metal Gear Rising?
I did. Yeah. Great game until the final boss.
Yeah, that's why I loved it. Like, I'm a Metal Gear fanboy.
It was awesome.
That final boss.
Dude, that final boss was so fucking stupid. Oh my god!
Is it that
I took
bad?
like 4 hours on him, and it was the same thing it was literally the same sequence for 4 fucking hours.
It was for such a unique game with like the fact that you could slice literally everything into a million pieces, which was the gameplay was phenomenal. The last boss, I mean, it's like just painful, almost as painful as the Last of Us ending.
Did you play on the hardest difficulty in first playthrough?
That horse is dead.
I did not.
Oh my god, dude! On the hardest fucking difficulty, it was just, I think it was 3 hits and your character and you're dead.
Oh my god!
And like that game, it was so cheap too with the fucking final boss, man. God, that pissed me off. I remember that game more than any other game was the most rage-inducing game for this year. That final boss. Every other boss in that game was fantastic too. They were all awesome. Trying to think, what was the one where he was like made of metal, and like when you go to cut him, he would like his skin would like come apart, and you'd like slice through air. That boss was fantastic. It's like one of the most enjoyable boss battles this year.
Yeah, it's just
that ending, that
ending.
The ending was, I mean, it's a Metal Gear Solid game. The endings are all stupid, but final boss, man, holy shit. Infuriating.
All right. Well, we should probably wrap up. We're over our 2 hours. So, we're going to be, I think this is the last show until next year. Is that right, JP?
Yeah, it is. Well, I won't be back in town till next Friday evening, so I don't know if you want to do an evening show, but we definitely could. I don't know what we would talk about, though.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of slow news. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll just play some games instead. We could just always do that. All right. Well, why don't we wrap up? Of course, thanks for joining us here in 2013, and I think we did about 18 or 19 shows this year, but hopefully we'll be able to.
Is this the 20th show? Isn't it?
No, it's like only the 18th, but then I think like the pilot in there, like another one. I don't know how we did that exactly.
I don't know. This show's kind of. Maybe we should like revisit the the design of the show before we come back. Maybe. We'll see.
But Dan, as always, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate you coming on and giving your thoughts 2013. Any like shout outs, anything you want to tell people about what's going on for you?
It's my pleasure. Thank you guys so much for having me. Really had a good time. I think it's cool that we're able to have, for most things we agreed upon, but we had a non-hype related debate about that, and I appreciate that.
I was happy how eclectic everyone's lists were. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. But for me, I'm just going to continue. I'll be streaming on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Really enjoying it, and you can catch me out there. But outside of that, I'll be tuning into 8-Bits like I always do. And one of the things I want to tell you guys, I was writing a book this past 3 months, and I can't tell you how many Fridays I had you guys in the background, and just really enjoy the show. So thanks so much for having me on.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you for coming on, man. It was fun hearing you crucify yourself on air about last month.
I'm used to it.
I'm only kidding.
JP?
So, yeah, JP.
Monday, I'm going on like a 5-day vacation. I'll be back on Friday. What else? Tomorrow, we've got R&D starting at 4 o'clock Eastern. We'll be playing for 4 hours, myself, Wheat, Maggie, and Steven. Sunday, I'll be finishing up Real Talk with Jeff Green, recording part 3 of that. And then that's Sunday afternoon. And then Sunday night, we've got State of the Game at 8 o'clock Eastern over at my channel with Wheat, In Control, Day 9, and Tyler.
Wait, that's Sunday,
doing
right?
the holiday episode. That's Sunday, yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Sunday at 8 Eastern. Apart from that, next week, in terms of content, we'll still have content coming out. I'll put up more Baldur's Gate playthrough and all of the VODs for R&D up on the YouTube channel. So if you want to go follow it, you can go to youtube.com/itmeJP and sub over there. That's it.
Yep. Over there, too, you can find the R&D episodes. And if you have not tuned in to R&D, we're playing Apocalypse World, and it's actually a ridiculous amount of fun. We're currently going to investigate someone about ready to take over JP and I's meth lab in the apocalyptic desert. Where it's strictly used for weaponry, Dan.
Yeah.
But it's interesting stuff's about ready to go down. So I'm really excited for that tomorrow, 4 p.m. EST. I'll be streaming later today as well here, so just make sure you follow the stream and get a notification when
I might stream some tonight. You want to fire up some Battlefield later tonight?
Maybe.
And Dan, you as well? You guys want to jump in?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I'd love to. I have family Christmas night tonight. Otherwise, I'd be in there crashing copters with you guys.
Gotcha. All right, I'll let you guys. I'll let you know whenever I fire up.
Yeah, please do. Other than that, if we don't get to talk to you before then, we hope that you have happy holidays and you get everything that you asked for this holiday season, and also Happy New Year. We'll of course keep you updated on the tweets of when the show will be coming back and when you'll be getting more 8-Bits. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time on another episode of 8-Bits. We're out of here. Peace.